Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women Are Worthy Network. Today is Monday, Motivational Monday. Y'all know I get all hyped. Okay, so y'all know I be fangirling, right? So let me calm down. Let me bring it back. So now, in the world that we're living in today, people are so stressed at their jobs. Some of y'all don't even like your jobs, okay? And you're stressed out. You don't like your boss. I know you don't like your boss. And not just work, but play. In life, you're stressed, whether it's the children, the family, all of that. So what I decided to do was I met this bomb lady, bomb.com lady, right? So I'll tell you a little bit about her. This may take the whole show because when I say she has accolades, accomplishments, you name it, she has it, right? So there's this wonderful lady by the name of Shani Godwin, right? Let me take my time because y'all know how I can get. She's a graduate of Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. Yes, that Goldman Sachs, okay? This woman she has so many accomplishments. Let's talk about Leadership Atlanta, class of 216, and Dartmouth University Tuck School of Business, high performing minority business program. Are y'all hearing me? I put it in the comments. This woman was also featured in Essence magazine. I told y'all I'd be bringing it, y'all. I told y'all. Now, we're going to go through some more things of what she's accomplished and what she's doing. But I'm telling you about her accomplishments because I want you guys to understand and ladies to understand. When I bring people who know what they're doing and what they're talking about, I got to list their accomplishments. I'm telling you her accomplishments alone, it's the whole show. Okay. It's the whole show. So the Women Are Worthy Network and the Women Are Worthy show, we are so proud, we're so honored to have Miss Shani Godwin. Hello.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Listen, your joy of economics, we need to get down to it, honey, because let me tell you, baby, it can get crazy sometimes. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Gosh, there's so much to say. Firstly, thank you for having me on the Women Are Worthy show. I am super honored to be here. It is a pleasure. I'm looking forward so much to this discussion tonight. My story is long and complex, but it really boils down to I'm start with the beginning, and that
Mm-hmm.
part is very foundational. In my heart of hearts, God talks about giving us all a certain number of talents and gifts. And I knew at a very early age that my talents and gifts were writing and speaking. I grew up in a family of orators, so I wasn't just doing the Easter speech in church. I had all the adults like, do it louder, project. Like, I'm just trying to say Happy Easter Day. And I don't think I was aware of it, but I knew what fueled my heart. And so when I got ready to go to college, I decided I was going to go to Spelman. That's where my mother went. My dad went to Morehouse. And I told my mom I was going to go to Spelman and major in English. And she said, why? And I said, well, because I want to write. And she said, well, write what? And I said, books. And she said, yeah, no, like you need to think more deeply about this. And Jackie, I was so angry because this was the life plan. Like, no, lady, I'm going to write. And I'm following in your footsteps and dad's footsteps, and I'm going to be legacy. And she was like, no, like you can write. And if that's the talent God has given you, let's do that. But let's figure out a way to monetize that talent and gift. And so that led me to Hampton University to study advertising. And that was the beginning of my corporate career. My desire was to be a copywriter. Fast forward through about 6 years in corporate, getting the degree in advertising from Hampton, I was then able to smoothly exit corporate America to begin writing for small businesses. This was the year after 9/11. All the .coms had busted. It was super gutsy move that I now see as gutsy. I don't think I saw it at the time. I was 27, and when you're 27, you're bold and confident and like nobody can tell you anything. So I believed in my gift, right? And so my story, my journey has lots of twists and turns, and we'll get into that tonight. But ultimately, what I have done in my career that has led me to the Goldman Sachs's, Essence magazines, Huffington Post. I was on NPR recently. Though it all has been a love of writing and a love of communicating. And so at the point that I found myself running a successful marketing communications firm, cranking out millions a year and miserable, and I had all the accolades and things, we had to kind of redirect. And so that became the impetus for creating the Joy Economics coaching program. So we'll get into it.
How important is it that you would tell someone out there who's, oh, I want to do this, but I'm not sure? Because, you're working in corporate America and it's kind of cushy at the time. It's kind of cushy. So you don't want to make that leap. So 2 questions. What made you, because we think about it, we're sitting on the fence, but sometimes we don't jump. What was that pivotal moment that made you jump?
So I'm gonna be honest. I was the person you're talking about. So could see the dream. I knew pretty early on in my corporate career I wanted to start my own business. I couldn't figure out what it was. Like, I looked everywhere outside of myself. So I was doing this thing that we do in the world, was just like looking at what everyone else is doing and going, can I do that? Can I do that? And I was married at the time. My ex-husband kept saying, Shani, just write. And oddly, that tracks back to the conversation with Mom. I was like, oh no, like, I can't make a living doing that. So that can't be it. It can't be as simple as doing this thing that I naturally love to do. It's got to be a franchise, or something bigger than what I can perceive it to be. And so between him, and then I had the good fortune to meet a young lady at the time. I was working at Bell South, which is no more. The Bell companies are gone, but the phone company, basically, working in consumer advertising. My assistant, her name, and I want to shout her out because she's no longer here on this earth. And this is important to me, I never got an opportunity, and I feel myself getting emotional, to thank her. Some people, you will never know their purpose in your life until they are long gone and removed. And she died unexpectedly and suddenly. She was the only person, Tammy Hill, that I confided in when I was in corporate America, that I had this dream inside of me. And she looked at me and said, if God has given you the vision, then you will not fail. So I looked at her and I specifically said, I hear you, but if God wants me to do this with no lifeline or no money, then he will have to boot me up out of here. And I said it, I confess it. 2 weeks to the day, they called all of consumer advertising into a room and said, hey, we got to trim costs, expenses, and we don't want to do layoffs. So we're going to offer a voluntary 6 months to 18-month package to anyone who wants to leave. And I just was like, and it wasn't even that easy though, Jackie. I wasn't even like that. I was like, oh shoot, like you said it, you spoke it out. Here this thing is boomeranging back to you. Now what you gonna do? And so it was one of the scariest moves. And I prayed the prayer. I prayed for clarity on that thing for 2.5 years. The clarity became pretty clear. Yeah, just do what I told you to do, right? And now, well, I am booting you. I'm giving you the boot if you want the boot. So I went ahead and applied for the package because I said, I don't have any more excuses. And if I get this package, then I'll go. And I got it.
See, this is, there's such a strong connection because with me and you, we're so in alignment because I remember God told me, Jackie, you need to leave this job. You're working with 300 doctors. You need to leave this job. You're a road warrior. You've done great things. And you're like, nah, I need to see something else. And it's almost like you'll say, God, show me a sign. He'll show you a sign. Well, God, I want you to make sure the lightning hits the tree hits the car. I want another sign, that kind of thing,
Right.
So we have to be cognizant of what we ask and the signs and things like that. So you became an entrepreneur. Welcome.
Yeah. At a time where people were not doing this, mind you. So I also was met with a lot of, are you crazy? One of my favorites was, what does your husband do? And I was like, what does that got to do with me? Like, these are my gifts and talents. But, a lot of diminishing this vision that I saw, and that wreaked havoc on my mind too in the beginning, because it was like, nobody believes in me. Like, you don't see this. And like today, if it happened, I think there are so many more entrepreneurs and people that set out on this course. People would cheer a little bit more. But back then it was like, girl, we just had 9/11. People, what are you talking about? You sound crazy. And I had people for about the first 5 to 10 years, literally not even legitimately call me a business owner. I got called a freelancer. Oh, I could do it too if I had a husband. It was just all these ways to diminish. And I had to
What
stand
you did.
firm in what I had seen and what God had told me and just speak as if it was until it was.
My question to you is, and I just love the name, Joy of Economics. How did you, when you were cooking it up, brewing it up, simmering it up, how did you give birth to that baby?
So this is a funny story. So I'm in this Goldman Sachs 10,000 small businesses. At the point that I'm in this program, we had just eclipsed and grown and scaled our business over the $1 million mark, which at the time I didn't understand the significance of that. It's not about the $1 million. It's about the effort it takes. And the fact that women and women of color are severely underrepresented at these levels of business. I didn't know that at the time. I knew it was hard. I was stressed. I was tired. And here I was, because someone had nominated me, grateful for Miss Kitty Watson who nominated me. But here I was about to try to cook up a growth plan to grow on top of the growth that I couldn't manage, that was keeping me up, that I was stressed. And it was too all consuming. So I found myself, Jackie, at 3 a.m. after a week long of being at Dartmouth, working on a growth plan that I did not want to do. But everyone in business in my class, everyone says, if you're a business owner, we all should be wanting to grow, right? So again, feeling crazy like an oddball because I didn't want to grow. I wanted to enjoy myself. I missed those moments of just dreaming big. And at the point that I'd gotten there, yeah, we did it, but it came with a lot of stress and nobody had prepared me for that. Nobody had prepared me for the loneliness, the isolation, the fact that I'd be pulling up to girls' nights out, stressed and trying to share with girlfriends who were looking at me and going, what are you complaining about? Like, you're successful. You're doing what everyone says you should want to do in business. And so at 3 a.m., I found myself crying out to God, like miserable crying. Not that I don't want it, but like I don't want it at the expense of my joy. And I realized I needed to redefine success on my own terms, not on America's terms or what my mom or other people said success should look like, which is a lot of materialistic money, power, influence kind of stuff. For me, it was like, I just want to be happy. And so perhaps if I chase joy as the path to creating income, then all things will be added to me. And so that was when Joy Economics, and like a good stressed out, tired old business lady at 3 a.m., I sketched out. First you go and look to see, does the URL exist? Has it been taken? Let me start the registration process to register the mark. And then I sketched out a business model, a whole new business model for me that took me out of the parts of the business that were not aligned with my gifts. Things like operations. I didn't need to be doing the operations. I needed to find the person who likes to do operations, and giving myself that freedom to put myself in the places of business, in the business that I served best, and then building out a team of leaders who were infused and happy when they were doing the parts that I didn't like was a better roadmap for us. And so we started preaching the gospel of Joy Economics and helping people really realize how do you monetize that joy currency? Because when everyone's happy, everyone's producing at higher levels. When you're producing at higher levels, you're attracting better everything, better clients, better balance, it's more fun, right? And money will come just off of that alone, the currency of joy for having me.
Joe Biden just called and he said, you know what, Jackie, I like this lady who's on your show. I need you to contact her for me because I'm going to give her $10 million. So you get a $10 million check from Joe Biden for whatever organization. What would you do with the first $5 million?
The first $5 million. So I have a second business actually, which I'm pretty sure needs to be a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. I've just been kind of praying on this. That business is called Audible Voices. Find your voice, speak your truth. And what I do in that space, I take kind of proceeds from the main business, and then I coach aspiring authors, aspiring writers, and I tell people, let's not get hemmed up on the title author, but if God has given you a story or a message that is in your heart and you know you need to share it, then my responsibility is to help people make sense of their story. And that shows up in my life in a lot of different ways. That's that writing gift really
Mhm.
being illuminated. But I would give the money to I would put some of the money in Audible Voices to create more coaching and writing programs so that people wouldn't have to pay to become published authors. More stories get out, more truth is told, more healing happens, and collectively the world can heal. And if we heal each other, then it becomes a better place. And I would also invest, honestly, in mental health advocacy. That's something that's very important to me. Um, those are kind of the two lanes I camp out in, typically educating, teaching people how to see themselves clearly the way God designed them. And when that happens, I'm blessed immensely. Whether I make another dollar in this lifetime doesn't matter as much as like making sure that people's hearts are healed and that they are showing up truly the way that God designed them to. Because in my worst, darkest moments, I didn't I couldn't see any of this, you know, and you couldn't have made me believe that this could be my life. So I look at everything now as a blessing, and to be able to be blessed to go backwards, pull people in despair up, show them, dust them off, and show them the beautiful creation that they are, and then give them, the tools to help give voice to that pain, that suffering, that storyline, so that they not only heal, but they heal others who need to
That's
see
right.
the same thing. I'm there for that. And if someone wants to give me some money to make that happen, oh, we can go just change the whole wide world. So